I stared at my college diploma on the wall, the one I'd earned through 4 years of sleepless nights and endless problem sets. The gold seal of State University gleamed under the afternoon light streaming through my apartment window. My fingers traced the embossed letters of my name. This was real. This had to be real. But Rebecca's words echoed in my mind as I drove home from that disastrous interview. We're excited to have someone with your military background. The confusion in her eyes when I denied everything. The way her supervisor had looked at me like I was either lying or losing my mind. I pulled out my phone and called my best friend Marcus. We'd been roommates junior and senior year, spent countless hours in the engineering lab together building our capstone project. Hey man, what's up? His voice was warm, familiar. Marcus, we want to stay together, right? Graduated in 2022. There was a pause. A long one. Dude, are you okay? You dropped out freshman year. Joined the Army. We stayed in touch for a while, but you know how it is with deployments. My heart stopped. What are you talking about? We lived together. We built that automated sorting system together for our senior project. I built that with Jennifer Chun. You weren't there, man. Are you having some kind of episode? Should I call someone? I hung up. My hand was shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone. This wasn't possible. I had memories. Clear, vivid memories of those years. The taste of terrible cafeteria coffee during all-nighters. The smell of solder and burnt circuits in the lab. The feeling of pride when our project won the engineering showcase. I opened my laptop and pulled up Facebook. Scrolled back to 2019, 2020, 2021. My profile showed sparse updates. A few posts from military bases. Photos of me in desert camouflage that I didn't remember taking. Comments from people I didn't recognize thanking me for my service. But I also had photos on my phone. I pulled them up with trembling fingers. There was Marcus and me at graduation, both of us in caps and gowns, throwing our caps in the air. I zoomed in on the date stamp. May 14, 2022. I texted the photo to Marcus. Explain this. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, that's not me. I don't know who that is, but that's not me. And I graduated in May 2023, not 2022. Seriously, you're freaking me out. I looked at the photo again. That was definitely Marcus. Same crooked smile, same scar on his left eyebrow from a skateboarding accident in high school. But according to him, it wasn't. My phone buzzed. An email from the university registrar's office. I called them from the car, demanding answers. The email contained an attachment. My official transcript. It showed I'd enrolled in fall 2018, completed 2 semesters, then withdrew in September 2019. Reason, military deployment. But I had a different transcript. I jumped up and ran to my filing cabinet, pulled out the folder labeled important documents. There it was. 4 years of grades. Dean's list every semester. Graduation date, May 14, 2022. I held my phone up next to the printed transcript. They both had the official university seal. They both had the same registrar's signature. They both showed my student ID number. But they told completely different stories. The room started spinning. I sat down hard on my couch, trying to breathe. Think logically. I was an engineer. There had to be a rational explanation. Identity theft? But the military records had my exact biometric data. My fingerprints. My dental records. Someone couldn't fake that, could they? I opened my laptop and searched for my name plus military. Articles popped up. Local news coverage of a soldier from my hometown receiving a Purple Heart. The photo showed me, in dress uniform, shaking hands with a general. The date was March 2021. I zoomed in on my face. Same mole on my right cheek. Same slight asymmetry in my eyebrows. I clicked on the video embedded in the article. Watched myself give a speech about brotherhood and sacrifice. Listened to my own voice with the same slight rasp I'd always had. Talk about carrying a wounded comrade through enemy fire in Kandahar province. I had no memory of this. None. But the emotion in that video was real. I could see it in my eyes, hear it in my voice. That version of me had lived through something profound and terrible. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Is this David Chun? A woman's voice, professional but concerned. Yes, this is Dr. Patricia Morrison from Walter Reed Medical Center. We've been trying to reach you about your follow-up appointments. You've missed the last 3. Your traumatic brain injury requires ongoing monitoring. I don't have a brain injury. Mr. Chun, you suffered significant trauma in August 2021. You were in a medically induced coma for 6 days. You have a titanium plate in your skull. You can't just ignore this. I'm telling you, I was never injured. I was never in the military. I was in college. A long pause. Mr. Chun, are you experiencing memory problems? Confusion? This could be related to your TBI. I'm going to send a wellness check to your address on file. No, wait, but she'd already hung up. I pulled up my shirt and looked down at my torso. Smooth skin. No scars. But I grabbed my phone and took a photo, then looked at it on the screen. In the photo, I could see a long, jagged scar running along my left rib cage. I looked down at my actual body again. Nothing there. I took another photo. The scar appeared again. I ran to the bathroom mirror. No scar in the reflection. I held up my phone and looked at myself through the camera app. There was the scar, clear as day. Oh God, I whispered. Oh God, what's happening to me? I thought about my parents. They would know the truth. I called my mom. Honey, how are you? How's the job search going? Mom, where was I from 2019 to 2022? What do you mean, where were you? You were deployed. Afghanistan, then Germany for your recovery. Why are you asking me this? Mom, I was in college. You came to my graduation. Silence. Then, quietly, David, we've talked about this with your therapists. The TBI can cause confusion. You didn't graduate college. You withdrew to serve your country. We're so proud of you, but you need to accept what happened. You came to my graduation. I was shouting now. You wore that blue dress. Dad complained about the parking. We went to that Italian restaurant after, the one with the terrible breadsticks. David, that was your sister's graduation. Emily's graduation. You were there on leave, remember? You were still in uniform. I hung up, pulled up my photos again, scrolled frantically until I found it. My graduation. My mom in a blue dress. My dad looking uncomfortable in a tie. Me in a cap and gown. I zoomed in on my sister Emily standing next to me. She was wearing casual clothes. Not graduating, just there to support me. But according to my mom, Emily had been the one graduate. I'd been the one in casual clothes. Or no, in uniform. I called Emily. She was 2 years younger than me. Should have graduated in 2024. Hey, big bro, she answered. When did you graduate college? Last year, 2023. You were there, remember? You gave that embarrassing speech at the restaurant about how proud you were. What was I wearing? What? I don't know. Jeans and a button-down, I think. What? Not a uniform? No, you don't even own a uniform. You've never been in the military. Are you feeling okay? You sound weird. I made some excuse and hung up. Looked at the photo again. Now Emily was in the cap and gown. I was in jeans and a button-down. The date stamp had changed. May 15th, 2023. I was looking at my photos change in real time. Reality rewriting itself right in front of my eyes. My laptop chimed. An email from Rebecca at the company where I'd interviewed. Dear David, after reviewing your application materials and conducting our interview, we've decided to move forward with other candidates. The inconsistencies in your employment history and educational background raise concerns about your reliability. We wish you the best in your future endeavors. I wanted to scream, to throw my laptop across the room, but instead, I opened a new browser window and started searching. False memories, alternate timelines, Mandela effect. The results were a mix of psychology articles and conspiracy theories. Then I found something, a forum buried deep in the search results. Reality Displacement Support Group. The posts were from people describing experiences like mine, waking up to find their lives had changed. Documents that contradicted their memories. Photos that showed different events than they remembered. One post caught my eye. It started small for me. A different car in my driveway. Then my wife said we'd never been to Italy, even though I had clear memories of our anniversary trip to Rome. Now I have 2 kids in the photos on my wall, but I remember 3. And everyone tells me I'm crazy. Another, I was a doctor for 15 years. Then one day, all my medical school records vanished. My diploma changed to show a business degree. My patients don't remember me. The hospital says I never worked there, but I can still recite every bone in the human body. I still remember my first surgery. How can I remember something I never learned? I created an account and posted my story. Within minutes, responses started appearing. Document everything. Take photos of photos. Make videos of yourself describing your memories. Back everything up to multiple cloud services. It might not stop the changes, but at least you'll have evidence that you're not crazy. Check your body for scars or marks that don't match your memories. The physical changes often lag behind the documentary ones. Whatever you do, don't let them convince you to see a psychiatrist. Once you're labeled delusional, it becomes impossible to prove anything. They'll say the meds are helping even as your reality continues to shift. I spent the next 3 hours documenting everything. I recorded myself describing my college memories in detail. Every professor's name, every project, the layout of the engineering building, the taste of the coffee from the 3rd floor vending machine. I uploaded the videos to 3 different cloud services. I photographed every document I own. My birth certificate, my driver's license, my social security card, my college transcripts and diploma. I wrote down the details of each one, noting every number and date. Then I went through my apartment, photographing everything. Every book on my shelf, every piece of furniture, every item of clothing in my closet. I narrated as I went, describing what I was seeing, when I'd acquired each item, what it meant to me. By the time I finished, it was past midnight. I was exhausted, but too wired to sleep. I made coffee and sat down with my laptop, watching the forum for more responses. A private message appeared. You're in the early stages. It will get worse. The changes will accelerate. Eventually, you'll wake up and not recognize your own life. Some people lose themselves completely, but there might be a way to stop it. I typed back immediately. Ow, tell me how. There's a place, a research facility in Nevada. They study cases like ours. They might be able to help, but you need to go soon before the changes progress too far, before you lose the anchor of who you really are. They sent me an address and a contact name. Dr. Sarah Chun. I stared at the last name. Same as mine. Coincidence? I looked up the facility. Officially, it was listed as a private neuroscience research center. The website was sparse, clinical. Nothing that suggested they dealt with reality displacement or whatever this was. But at this point, what did I have to lose? I booked a flight for the next morning. Then I lay down on my couch, too afraid to sleep in my bedroom. What if I woke up and the room had changed? What if my bed was different, or my clothes, or my entire apartment? I must have dozed off because I woke to sunlight streaming through the windows. For a moment, everything seemed normal. Then I looked down at my hands and saw scars across my knuckles that hadn't been there before. Military calluses. Fighter's hands. I jumped up and ran to the mirror. My face was the same, but there were subtle differences. A small scar through my left eyebrow. Deeper lines around my eyes. The face of someone who'd seen combat. I grabbed my phone. The photos I'd taken last night were still there, but they were changing as I watched. My college graduation photo now showed me in a military dress uniform. The date had shifted to 2018. High school graduation. My hands shaking, I checked my cloud backups. The videos I'd recorded were still there. I hit play on the first one, watching myself describe my college memories. But the audio was different. I was describing military training. Boot camp. My first deployment. No. No. I grabbed my wallet, pulled out my driver's license. It looked normal at first glance, but then I noticed the small details. The address was different. The issue date had changed, and in the corner, where it should have been blank, there was now a small notation. Veteran. I looked at my college diploma on the wall. It was still there, but as I watched, the text began to shimmer and shift. State University became U.S. Army. Bachelor of Science in Engineering became Certificate of Completion, Advanced Combat Training. The date remained the same, but the meaning had completely changed. I'm losing, I said out loud. It's erasing me. I threw clothes into a bag, grabbed my laptop and phone, and ran out to my car. The flight to Nevada left in 3 hours. I had to get to that facility. Had to find Dr. Chun. Had to find answers before there was nothing left of the real me. As I drove to the airport, I kept glancing in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see someone else's eyes looking back at me. The radio played a news report about veterans' mental health services. A coincidence? Or was reality itself mocking me? My phone buzzed. A text from a number I didn't recognize. David, this is Dr. Morrison from Walter Reed. We've sent a team to your apartment for the wellness check. Please contact us immediately. We're concerned about your mental state. I didn't respond. Couldn't respond. If I let them find me, they'd commit me, medicate me, tell me my memories were false, products of a damaged brain. Maybe they were right. Maybe I was crazy, but I could still feel it. The truth of my real life, the weight of those college years, the pride of earning that degree, the exhaustion and triumph of graduation day. Those memories felt more real than anything else. I made it to the airport and checked in for my flight. The TSA agent looked at my license for a long moment, then at me, then back at the license. Thank you for your service, he said, waving me through. I wanted to tell him I'd never served, but what was the point? According to every official record, I had. According to everyone who knew me, I had. According to the scars now visible on my hands and arms, I had. On the plane, I pulled out my phone one more time and looked at the photos. My college friends had been replaced by military buddies. My dorm room had become a barracks. My graduation had become a promotion ceremony. But I held tight to the memories in my head, the real ones, the true ones. And I prayed that Dr. Sarah Chun, whoever she was, had answers, because I was running out of time to prove that my life was real. If you enjoyed this story, like and subscribe for more.